It really comes down to, is he familiar with the Ravens enough that he just can't leave there? He just is so comfortable, and it's just such a home for him that he doesn't want to go anywhere else. I'd move if the money was right. It's like if you're him and you can make $8-9 more million guaranteed somewhere else, accounting for everything, including the taxes.
Yeah.
Would you do it? Why would you not?
I mean, I certainly would if I was him. I just get nervous in these situations. Are the Patriots being used as leverage?
That's okay.
You know what I mean?
What's wrong with that?
For the Ravens? No, I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying, yeah, so the hope is that you can make an offer that he ultimately doesn't turn down. And it goes from maybe being used as leverage initially to saying, you know what, this offer is so overwhelming right now that I can't walk away from it.
And I don't mean to play up the age thing too much. I know I did it earlier, but just subjectively, he's going to be 31 in a couple weeks. This is his last chance to get a big contract. So if you're going to get paid, like it's now, that whatever it is, 20-something million dollar an offer, that's probably not there next time you hit free agency. To your point about what are the Ravens going to do, because I think the Ravens are the Patriots' biggest opponent in this. They have 22 pending free agents, and that's everybody. That's, top of the roster to guys that were UDFAs, but 22 pending free agents, and they're currently projected to have $10 million in cap space. So even if the Ravens do want to make an overwhelming offer, how overwhelming can they really be? Stanley's a good player. He's a very important player, but how much are they willing to blow up their roster to make sure they keep him? Like they do have, I know the cap is the cap, but they do have some limits in place there.
617-779-0985. Let's go to your calls. We got full lines. Let's go to Matt. He's in Hudson. Go ahead.
Hey, guys. Good morning.
Morning.
Hey, real quick on the DK Metcalf thing. I think the blueprint's going to be a second-round pick in Joe Milton. They're in negotiations with Geno Smith, and they need a quarterback. And quickly on Thuney, Jake Andrews, Chad Ryland, City So, Layden Robinson, Javon Baker. Until they can use those resources correctly, Joe Thuney is a no-brainer.
Of course he is. Of course he's a no-brainer. Leadership, culture, ability, institutional knowledge. Yes, checks a lot of boxes.
Versatility, too. Jim Louth was in here during the break and pointed out that if David Andrews isn't fully healthy coming back, Thuney's played some center.
In a pinch, you could use him there. Not ideal, but you could use him there. McCone is in Zoe's seat today, and apparently he's picked up some of his tendencies.
No.
The team can't spend money. They can't do it.
I just think one of the benefits of bringing in a guy like a Ronnie Stanley at left tackle and paying him a ton of money, one of the benefits of going out and maybe using your first-round pick on another tackle, one of the benefits of paying Mike Owenu a ton of money, one of the benefits of having David Andrews at center is that those guys and the investments that you've made at that position allow you to use resources in a different way other than overpaying for another guard. You can get away with a lesser player there and still have a good offensive line. And you don't have to use all those resources for a position that you should be able to fill without giving up is what we're talking about in terms of what Joe Thuney would actually take.
Hey, Bart, let's try something real quick here. Hit it, T-Bone. Go ahead.
He didn't push the mic away.
Okay. He didn't have that reflex to the song, so he hasn't picked up that. Yeah, there it is. He hasn't pushed the microphone away and pushed himself away from the desk. It didn't come.
Travel schedule is on time all year. I don't know what we're talking about. All
right.
Landed no problem. Best hotels I've seen.
And those Nikes that Kraft wears are
foot problems, right? We're just
It's got bad feet. Vic in Virginia. Hi, Vic.
Hey, McBone, what does a 2026 day 3 pick do for you right now? Nothing. What can Joe Thuney do for you right now? Help you. It's a no-brainer move.
Yeah, I just wouldn't use that resource on that position. Look, the 4th-round pick, you can trade that maybe down the road for another player.
Okay.
It's more the
right.
It's not necessarily Joe Thuney. It's investing that in terms of the resource for that specific position.
Let's advance it then to the next step. They did call, right? Which means they did have a level of interest. According to Burt Breer, they did make a call on this player. What would you have given up for him? Because they would have given up something But for them, it just wasn't a 4th-round pick.
I mean, truthfully, I just wouldn't do it. But a 6th or a 7th, something like that, maybe. But I wouldn't make that trade. I wouldn't make that trade. If you're planning on investing the way that we think they're going to at the tackle position, you should be able to get away with
at least
something
you're
else.
consistent. You're saying, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not moving a pick of any sort for that player. I'm not paying that player. It's a guard. I get it. What was their problem then? So they wanted the player, but they just wanted him at their price. And that, to me, is the biggest concern here.
So that
They want players, but they only want to do it on their terms and their price and not what the market dictates. And that, to me, can be a really bad sign for free agency.
Yes.
We want players. We want to talk to players. We want to talk trades, but we only want to do it on our terms. And I don't think the New England Patriots at this moment in time are in any position to do anything on their terms. They haven't earned it. And that, to me, worries me.
At least not at that price, right? If it was like a 2nd-round pick, I'd understand. Right? But when you're talking about day 3 picks, I don't know what they were offering, but let's just say like a 5th to a 4th, right? In a future pick.
Yeah.
You want to do the trade chart again? I mean, that difference is negligible.
Connor's in Bourne. Hi, Connor.
It's Jonathan from Woburn, actually.
I'm sorry.
Beetle, it's okay. Beetle, I agree with you 1,000%, man. Bring in Thuney. It's unfortunate that we have such a cheap owner in the Crafts in Macomb. I don't know what planet you're living on, man, but we went 4-13 the last 2 seasons. Okay, our offensive line ranks at the bottom of the league, and really, I mean, this is it's better to bring in a proven commodity than to rely on unknowns in the draft. Okay, I'm done.
All right.
You are bringing in known commodities, though, right? We think they're going to address the tackle positions. You have a $20 million guard already. I don't think you have to spend that amount of resources on the offensive line and at that guard position if you're going to take care of the tackle position the way that we think they're going to.
You don't have to, but you look at the list of teams that had the best offensive lines last year. You look at the list of teams that went the deepest in the playoffs. There's a lot of overlap. There's nothing wrong with overdoing it a little bit up front. Like, if you're going to do that anywhere, at a different position, Tim, I might be more in line with your thinking. I think on the offensive line, you load up when you can load up. Why have a good offensive line when you can have a great offensive line if it's not going to cost you that much?
I mean, I think in a normal year, if Shedeur Sanders were coming out a year ago, he's not really in the conversation among the top quarterbacks. He just isn't.
No.
Last year wasn't a normal year either in the other direction, but
True.
I think this is some of what you're seeing. It's a copycat league. We all know that. Teams see all the success these rookie quarterbacks had last year. They want to get their guy, and they're just blindly looking for, we want our Drake May, we want our Jaden Daniels, we want our Bo Nix. I mean, there was one of the mocks on NFL.com yesterday, I think I saw, had Jackson Dart going in the top 5.
Feels like he's got momentum right now all of a sudden, yeah.
This just reminds me of J.J. McCarthy last year, where like everybody's saying that he's been impressive, but the eye test, I don't see it. It's just the talk is there, but I don't see anything to back it up. It's not bad. I don't think he's a first-round pick. But if some team wants to take Jackson Dart in the top 3, by all means, please, I would insist.
Let me go glass half full for a second.
Oh, okay. Please do.
What if he's acting like, I heard Todd McShay bring this up.
Yeah.
What if he's acting like this in these meetings because he already has a promise? He already knows where he's going to go. Giants have already told him, hey, we're taking you. Fully possible, right?
It is. What if it's an act to get him to that team that he wants to be drafted by?
Right. What if he's trying to fall?
Right. What if that's part of the equation? Could be.
Raiders, 6, Brady.
Yeah. Yeah. What if he puts a smile on and charms a team that's down the board, like you say, let's call it the Raiders,
Yeah.
because he knows he's not going number 1, so there's no attempt to try and be at the top of the draft.
Right, exactly.
Just end up going to a team you want to be with.
Yeah. So you're trying to throw it to get to the actual
You're
organization you
throwing
want
it
to
to get to the team that you want to go to.
Yeah.
Couldn't he also just tell that team, hey, come up and get me?
Yeah, it just doesn't help the Pats.
Yeah.
I don't think any
Yeah.
of this helps them, and so I agree with that. They're not going to all of a sudden have Travis Hunter fall in their lap or Abdul Carter fall in their lap. Those guys are going to be gone. They're the consensus top 2 guys in the draft. You get a mock draft right now, Barth?
I do.
Where's that tight end?
Sportshub.com.
Where's that tight end going?
I think, where did I have Tyler Warren? I think I had him 10th. That's probably a little low. But
You didn't memorize it?
it was a couple days ago.
Couple days.
So much
Listen.
information.
That was 48 hours ago. The information's always flowing, man. Updates are happening in Barth's
Fluid
head
situation.
before he's able to put it down on the screen for you at 98.5thesportshub.com.
I had to look up
bartender drinking his own supply.
I had to look up how many different wide receiver trades yesterday to find the DK Metcalf value. That just pushed everything else out. Warren, I think so. If assuming Hunter and Carter are off the board, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
If we don't believe in Will Campbell, or if they don't believe in Will Campbell, I should say, who is the best play? Let's say they solve left tackle. Let's say Big Sexy's coming to town.
Big Sexy.
All right.
Who's the best player available? Because at this point, they kind of need everything. There is a case to be made. There's like 5 or 6 players you can basically make the case for. You can make it for Tet McMillan, who we've talked about. I guess you could still make it for Campbell if you want to take a guard, although Tim, I know, is very anti getting a good left guard. You could make the case for, I think you make the case for Tyler Warren. I think you make the case for Will Johnson, the corner from Michigan. I don't know if they want to go corner that high with Gonzalez. And I'm missing somebody else, but like Warren to me is in that group, and maybe he's not ultimately the guy. Oh, Membu. You can make the case for Membu. There's like a whole group there that, to what Brugler just said, this draft is more about fit than about ability. All those guys are probably going to grade out relatively similarly. So then it comes down to, right, the tiebreaker. Well, you know, maybe it's position. Maybe it's intangibles. Maybe it's athleticism. It could be any number of things. But you could look at it a certain way where Warren maybe is at the top of that group. You could look at it a way where Membu's at the top of that group. You could look at it with McMillan. It's kind of wide open at that point.
McCone is anti-left guard.
He said good left guard. Yeah.
Good left guard?
Yeah, I don't want a good left guard. Yeah.
Left guards, good left guards, McCone wants nothing to do with them.
I'm in on this Ty Warren stuff, though, Barth. And the more that you've talked about sort of what he brings to the table in terms of being like a chess piece for Josh McDaniels as well. We talked about this yesterday. You cannot miss with this pick in the first round. You have to get a player that you know is going to be a productive part of this team. And so when you look at a guy like a Tet McMillan and the questions that we have with him, or Will Campbell and the arm length, and feeling like you're kind of taking a gamble with either one of those guys, it feels like Ty Warren is a safe pick. You know you're going to get a productive player. And yes, probably not an elite position in terms of what he's doing, but still, with what he's able to do on the field and the ways that you could use him, I still think that that's a nice little find there for the Patriots.
So it's relative to this draft that he's a safe pick. Like, there are, all those guys have questions. And with Warren, he's going to be a 23-year-old rookie, and he really only has 1 year of major production. So something that teams look at is breakout year, right? Generally, guys that break out earlier in their career, freshman, sophomore year, correlates having more success in the NFL.
Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers,
or
a guy like Luther Burden in this draft, right? Who did not have a good year last year, but he was so good as a freshman and a sophomore, teams just kind of look at it and say, all right, he had a down year. Guys that have late breakouts, we talked a lot about this with Michael Penix last year. This was where with Michael Penix. It's, well, okay, you're a 23-year-old playing with a bunch of 20-year-olds. Like, is this maybe an anomaly? Tyler Warren has 1 year of significant production. It came at the age of 22. So that's something that teams are going to weigh when it comes to him.
Hey, if you like that clip, check out more videos from Zolak and Bertrand right here. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.